Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika, and this is Snowfall, y'all. Okay, this was the craziness that was going down in this episode. I was in here yelling and screaming. Okay, I know my neighbors is like, I wish this girl would shut the hell up. All right, this is the Iliad Part 2, Season 5, Episode 6. All right, and we basically picked up where we left off. Also, and Franklin is in this daggone cage. Franklin is saying out of all the houses in LA, we end up one with a tiger in the damn backyard. I'm like, I understand, Franklin, because we saying the same damn thing, okay? And he yelling and screaming, and, you know, Oso's basically telling him to save his strength. He like, save my strength for what? To wrestle a damn tiger? And so, Oso keeps talking to him in Spanish, and of course, Franklin is like, I don't understand Spanish, okay? And he's like, he looks old, and he was like, do you want to die in here? And, Oso's like, listen, I ain't trying to die. And, of course, Louis is still beeping Franklin. And, Franklin is sitting here screaming for help. I don't know who the hell he think is supposed to help him. And Oso basically tells him there's nobody coming to help, okay? He took the words out of my mouth. He was like, no one is coming, all right? And says, even if they do hear you, what the hell are they going to do, essentially? They don't give a damn, all right? And so when the old man comes out, Franklin is basically like, hey, 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 trying to get his attention, telling him, we got money. I got money. If you let me go, I could go and get the bag. I could bring it back to you. And you know what I'm saying? We could break you off a little something, something. And the old man basically says to Franklin, oh, yeah, you a leprechaun. He was like, let me find out you magically delicious, okay? He got jokes. He ain't trying to hear it. He think Franklin and them is just telling them, telling him about the money for, trying to trick him or whatever. Of course, he don't believe them. He's saying, we not a part of these people that, have been coming in robbing you or whatever they've been doing. We just came in because we got stranded and we was trying to use your phone, and basically I'm willing to hit you off with something, all right? And so, of course, he thinks he's just talking to talk, and he's basically, saying, the tiger gonna have him a good old snack tonight. He gonna, love eating them up or whatever, basically. And, he's like, oh, lucky me. I thought I found a thief, but instead I hit the jackpot or whatever, like I say, he trying to have jokes. And so, of course, the, tiger's growling and going crazy, and Franklin is telling him to open the gate, and he does get a hold of him and was grabbing him or whatever, and he ended up getting stuck. And he was saying, I suppose you want me to just rush in there so that y'all could end up bum rushing me. And so he basically walks away, and they still there, and he starts to climb up. And in the midst of him climbing up, also, my boy, I love you so much. Okay, I really do. He's climbing up and he's playing with this wire, pulling the cage back and forth, and also drops, kicks him, jumps up, kicks him, makes the guy fall, and lets the tiger get a hold of his leg. The tiger basically rips the guy's leg off, and he's going, oh God, stop, of course, screaming. The keys fall, so also when Franklin is trying to scramble to get the damn keys, and they do get out of the daggone cage. So I'm like, yes, also, that's right, get it, get it, get it, get it. Okay, I was too freaking happy, all right. And they basically get from there, and they, trying to figure out what's their next move where they could go to. They saying, come on, let's go this way together. They see a daggone car pull up, and they thinking that they about to hijack the damn car so they could get the hell up out of there. But little do they know, it's these damn essays, okay? So now they done got free from the freaking tiger, but end up getting caught up by these essays again. I said, well, damn, y'all didn't have nothing to do. Y'all been driving around for however many hours it's been, still looking for them. Like, sheesh. So, of course they asking about the bags that had the money, and they like, somebody jacked us for it. We don't have it. And they're like, no, we do not believe that, okay? And they essentially end up taking Franklin and Oso. And I'm like, this is the definition of having the worst day ever, okay? And so, next we see that they got them all, taped up and tied up to these chairs. And Of course, they asking them over and over where the money is at. They punching the mess out of Oso, and Oso just keeps telling them like, it's gone. I don't know what to tell you. Of course, Oso ain't trying to give nothing up on nothing. All right. They punching Franklin and they telling him, oh, they gonna translate for him and let him know what they're saying back and forth to Oso, and they not getting nowhere. Okay, Oso's not trying to crack, and Franklin is not trying to crack. All right, they both are hanging strong, and I have to say I like Oso and Franklin as a team. Okay, they are my fave. I like them together. I think they have great chemistry. Just side note, but needless to say, they like, you gotta be freaking kidding me with this day, all right? And of course, these guys are just not trying to hear it. They don't believe that he doesn't have the money. So of course, Franklin is gonna try to be as smart as he could possibly be with the situation. He finally says, okay, I will take y'all to the money or whatever the case may be, and I will give y'all the money. And they say that they are going to keep, also there with them so that he can't do no tricky stuff. And, he would have to basically come back with the money in order, to be able to get Oso back. And Franklin agrees to that, okay? And so he tells some guys to go with him and take him back to where he's saying that the money is at. In the meantime, we have Veronique talking with Miss Sissy, and she's telling her about how her mom was this con woman, that it started out with them going to this amusement park or something like that not too long after her dad died. It was fun in the beginning. She's telling her they done traveled all around the world and been in different places. She starts talking French and was like, yeah, I know how to run, a con in French and in English. And so, Sissy's basically laughing about it because Sissy was telling her, like, you did really good out there. I'm proud of you. That was a bold move that you pulled today. The waterworks at the crime scene. And so, Veronique had laughed at that and she was like, it's you out of speeding tickets too, huh? And so Veronique was like, more than that. And so, she essentially starts to tell her the story of her mom. And she was like, wow, that's crazy. Here I was thinking that you was just a normal lawyer. And she was like, well, I am now. When she started telling her, she was like, you got to be kidding me. And she was like, well, it wasn't all bad. I did get to travel a lot. I did get to spend a few years in France. And she basically says something to his mother in French. And like I says she was able to falsify these documents in French and in English, and so we're getting a little bit more of Veronique. Okay, I guess this is all the stuff that she supposedly already told Franklin. And you could look at it in a good way and in a bad way, right? Because if she's a con, then she's smart. But if she's a con, she also can know how to con Franklin. I still don't trust her. But nonetheless, she's asking her, like, where's your mom at now? And she was like, I don't know. It could be Tulsa, it could be Boise, it could be Chicago. You never know where she's at. And then, his mom was basically saying, like, how does that work getting your, daughter in the life? And she was like, well, basically started telling the story about them going to this fair after her dad died. And so, she was like I said, some parts of it was fun, in the beginning. And then it got to, and the first time that they had did it was like right after his funeral, and they never wanted to leave that feeling, so they didn't, it just became like a regular routine for them. And so I'm like, take all that in though, okay, put that in the back burner. And so she was like, I tried to heal myself before it swallowed me, and maybe I was just trying to outrun it. And she was like, but here I am. And so, back at the beginning or whatever have you. And so, I guess that was supposed to be a bonding moment for her and Sissy. But if Sissy is smart, she's also looking at that in the other ways that I think a lot of us are looking at it as, okay? And so, you have Franklin get them to the house. And of course, he didn't take them to where the house had the money buried underneath. He took them back to the house with the daggone tire. And they say, get behind the wheel, keep the, car running to the younger guy that was the first one that they bumped into that had said he wasn't going nowhere when the other ones ran off initially. And he takes them in there and they're saying, if you try anything, we're going to blast you. And so they like, go ahead, where is it at? And he's like, the money's back there. And they like, okay, go get it. And of course, Franklin is trying to pay attention because he know there's tigers out here and it could be jumping out at any minute from any angle. So he's looking around to see where the tiger's at. Of course, they could still see a piece of the guy's body from when the tiger had grabbed his leg off. So they like, what the hell is this? And the next thing you know, just as they were saying that, the tiger done came out and chopped their little behinds up and they're yelling and screaming. And I said, okay, tiger's like, thank you, Franklin. You done came and brought me back some more snacks. Meanwhile, Franklin runs up to the car, got the gun pointed at the young guy in the car, and he's like, get up out this car right now, okay? And I loved every minute of it. I was like, yes, Franklin, go ahead. That's what I'm talking about, all right? And so, you have them still trying to figure out what the heck is going on, right? You got Louie and Jerome still talking. Jerome still, anytime anybody is bringing up Peaches, is saying, no, it's not them. They got Diamond and Dallas there. They're not trying to let them go until they could figure out if they had any parts of this, okay? Louie comes to give an update and say that Franklin did call and tell where he's at, and Jerome is on his way to get him. And of course, Sissy and Veronica like having a sigh of relief that he's been found. And Dallas and Diamond is talking about so can we get ready to, get out of here? And she's like, no, what you can do is go upstairs and tell your babysitter that you're going to be here a little bit longer. Okay. And you could also make some other calls to see if we could find out any info of who the hell did this. And she says she's going to go and make some more calls as well. Veronique comes and thanks her for letting them know that, Franklin was found. And she's like, no problem. And, they still trying to get to the bottom of how this whole thing got started and who exactly this was that came after them. Okay, just because Franklin has been found now, that doesn't mean that everything is just, completely done. And so you have Sissy say, can I speak to you for a minute? I need to say something to you. And Veronique is like, sure. And she says, you made it out of this today, but, in all actuality, your baby could have died. And not just today, but anytime going forward, you and your child could essentially be in danger. This is the life. And she basically gets up and walks away, which at the end of the day, I don't know how Veronique did not know that all of this time, but I guess that was supposed to put like a new fear in her to make it be reality that, your child or you could be in danger. And so, like I said, she walks away after saying that to her. You have Jerome and Leon come for Franklin. They pull up to him while he's sitting in the car that the guys had took him off to the house in. And of course, they happy to see each other and asking him, is he all right? They saying, oh, y'all got hit too. And he's telling him, no, he's not all right. And, Leon lets him know, yeah, they even took out one of Avi guys. They're still saying, did you find Peaches? And they like, come on, get the hell up out of here. And so Franklin essentially opens up the trunk. He had the boy in the trunk and he's like, okay, you so smart. Go ahead and figure your way out, from here, and throws the keys in the trunk with him. And he gets in the car with Leon and Jerome. And so, they are off to go back and get, Oso. In the meantime, we seeing Oso still sitting with the guys. They saying, look, these fools, might have messed around and ran off. They aren't back yet. It's been an hour. What could be taking them so long? They was like, how much money was you carrying? And he says 3 million. And they was like, oh shit, homie, we got played. They like, come on, let's go. They're going to take us to the, you're going to take us to the bag. So now they ready to take Oso to go look as well. But they hear a vehicle approaching. So they like, hey, wait a minute, thinking that that's probably them now. But here it comes with Jerome coming in, okay? And they telling them, get down on the ground. He done knocked one of them out. Leon and him is holding the guns on him. Oso is looking kind of shocked, surprised, and just relieved that, he did come back for him. He starts laughing. Franklin tells him, sorry it took so long. And he was like, I had a conversation with a tiger. Oso just starts laughing even more, whatever the case may be. And also was calm, cool, and collective this whole time, baby, okay? You would think that this was just another regular day for him that he is accustomed to having, all right? And so basically, he does say thank you to Franklin and they give each other a pound. And then Jerome is like, okay, what y'all want to do, with these dudes? And, Oso's like, man, forget about them. You know what I mean? Let's go home. And Franklin says, today is y'all lucky day, okay? It sure the hell is, all right? The complete opposite of what the hell him and Oso just went through, all right? And so he's just like, let's go home. And they had to leave and get back, to the club. And so when they get back to the club, Oso is still, no, I'm sorry, before they even got to the club, they were sitting in the car for a minute and they say, this was coordinated hits, okay? And Oso tells some people hide who they are, but sooner or later they show it, okay? And that is facts on facts on facts. And he was like, that's why he don't trust people. And Franklin tells him, I don't blame you, okay? I don't trust people either most of the time. He was like, shit, I didn't trust you either, especially after, I found out that you and Teddy was basically spying on me. And of course, also like, huh? The hell you talking about? Okay, like what you talking about, Willis? And Franklin was like, at the first drop, I found out, and when I went back, because I kind of felt suspicious about it. I had a feeling, and I went back to the spot and I found some evidence that Teddy had been there in the building. And so this is news to Oso too. He was like, he was watching and listening. And so Oso's like, he was like, you really didn't know? He was like, and so I feel like this is going to make Franklin and Oso bond even more. Okay, I think it's gonna make them come closer together with going through this experience that they done went through. And also we're finding out that, hey, wait a minute, Teddy is moving differently, okay, and he's spying out here in these streets. And I think that's going to be interesting. And if the money was still at the house, Jerome and Leon come out with the money, which I was shocked of. So they didn't lose the money, okay. But they still don't know where Teddy and these drugs is at. And of course, they still trying to find out who is behind this hit. And so from there, they basically got to the bar. And also is throwing back shots, okay? He's telling Teddy to have a shot. I'm sorry, he's telling Franklin to have a shot, but Franklin is like, nah, not right now, dude, okay? Of course, Veronique is sitting here trying to rub up on him. They also did see the tiger walking in the street as they was driving off to come back to the bar. And Oso and Franklin just looked at each other like, because I'm sure that when Franklin and Oso was even telling Jerome and Leon about it, they was probably like, yeah, right, whatever, dude. But they got to all see it, walking out and looking at them all bloody. So nonetheless, they get back, they in the bar, like I said, Veronique is happy to see him and he's looking at her, and, Mama's bad, happy to have him back, and they talking about, who could have possibly did this. They still saying, Peaches is missing in action. And, Oso's throwing back these drinks. And then his woman comes in and she's talking to him in Spanish. And she's pissed off. You scared the mess out of me. I thought you was dead. Don't ever do that to me again. Don't ever leave me worried. That type of thing. One minute she's trying to hug him. The next minute she trying to slap the mess out of him. Sissy at first was saying that he needed to be stitched up, and he was like, do you got a needle and thread? She looking at him like he crazy, and one minute the girlfriend was hugging him, and the next minute she started punching him and slapping him, and she's like, you asshole. So they all looking, and mind you, Oso's laughing through all of this. Like I said, you would think, so this is just another day for him. And of course she's saying, I thought you was dead. You such a funny man. She was like, it's not funny. I thought you was going to end up leaving me alone with them damn kids. And he told her never. Okay, that would never, ever, ever happen. And so Franklin tells them they should go home. He tells Oso to get some rest, you know what I'm saying? And they will speak again, tomorrow. He basically gives him a pound and says, good luck with your boy. And, of course, Franklin lets him know, if you hear anything from Teddy, make sure you let me know. And also says, yes, he will. And so, Franklin says he gonna go ahead and step out for a minute, that he'll be right back. They said that they got somebody outside Peach's house in case he comes back around. Diamond and Dallas is talking about, let us on the streets, okay? We could find out whether it's Peaches or not. And Jerome is steadily saying, okay, it's not Peaches. And so Franklin says keep an eye on them. But he does say that he needs to step out for a minute. He has to check something. He will be right back. And then, poor Sissy is like, yo, where you going? You're not about to go out, right? He was like, I'm telling you, I'm going to go out for a minute. He was like, whoever this is, they're not coming back after us tonight. So Veronique says she going to head home. And he's like, I'm going to have D drive you. She's talking about, no, like you said, they're not going to come back at us tonight. And the last time that D drove me home, he was singing the whole way. And I'm not really in the mood for that, okay? I had enough now for today. And I'm like looking at Veronique with the side eye, okay? And so he tells her to page him as soon as he gets home and that he's going to be on his way straight there. She says, okay. So, Jerome says, what you thinking, nephew? Well, they go back to where all that money was piled up in that little storage place, okay, that him and Peaches was at the day when he was sniffling and sneezing and wiping his nose and trying to shake Dan Franklin's hand. And all the shelves is empty, y'all. It's just little sprinkles of money on the damn floor, okay? I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, okay? I did not want to believe that Peaches could have anything to do with this. We see in Parissa, she's mopping up the blood off the floor. She playing music, listening to her headphones, probably on an old Walkman during that time. And you seeing Teddy looking like he's having dreams and he's starting to yell. He's hearing a helicopter passing and different stuff like that. So she takes off the headphones, hearing him moaning. She goes running in there and she basically drugs him up with who knows what, okay, gives him a shot of something, and then basically calms him down or whatever the case may be. And right before he passes out, because she was telling him, I'm giving you a sedative now. And she was like, here we go. And he's telling her, don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. She's like, okay, okay, okay. And she basically gives it to him. He's saying, no, 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 no. And so once she basically gets it in his arm, he tells her, you are crazy. All right. Which we already know that. And she was telling him to relax or whatever the case may be. And so, that was that with that. Okay, who knows what this daggone two crazies together, right? Because Teddy's his own damn crazy, and then she another damn crazy too. And so, like I said, you got Franklin and standing in this room, and it is completely freaking empty. Jerome is pissed as I don't know what, because Jerome have been the main one saying this cannot be Peaches. Franklin says only two of us knew about this spot, and one of the people was me. Okay, so that doesn't really leave anybody else. You have Franklin go to the house and he's like, V. He's looking all around. It's completely empty. He's not getting no answer back. He's like, baby. He go in the room. Ain't nobody in there. And then he goes walking around looking in the other spots. He looked like he noticed something else going. And so then he looks on, I think it was the counter. And it was a letter sitting there. We didn't get to see what the letter said, okay? But I was like, okay, here we go with the Fugazi mess, all right? That I do not trust Veronique. And so I'm like, see, now Franklin done put his heart out there again. And you just see him scream and be like, okay, basically, and piss the hell off. And so I'm just like, oh man, Franklin, you really are having a freaking day from hell, all right? And so, Jerome and them is out on these streets now, because Jerome is really pissed off now. He's trying to understand and figure out how he could have trusted, Peaches so much, how he could have been able to get past him and, gain his trust. And you have Franklin go see Avi. And, him and Avi sits down to talk or whatever have you. Because, of course, Avi had got hit too. And I guess he putting him up to speed with everything that's going on. And, Avi was basically just saying, my friend Azim, he was shot down yesterday right here. He was like, he died at my feet. And, and here you are, And he was like, you always bringing life into the world and I never been married, never had a child, became a soldier, always was a soldier. And he basically was telling him like, um, Franklin is not like him, he says. And Franklin was like, how do you see that? And he was like, because you have many different options. You have a lot of different things you could do. You could do anything. You could be anything. When I look at you, the first time I ever saw you, I thought to myself, you can have anything you want. And he was like, that could be the biggest curse. And so he says, yeah, because in my case, I had to do what I had to do. But with you, you could do anything. Okay. And that's just a whole different ball game. And so he basically was saying, a teacher, a businessman, a rabbi. He was like, you got so many different choices, or a drug dealer, and Franklin just looks at him and he was like, it's all in you, and it all wants to come out. And he says, I go from war to war. And, whereas a man like you, you basically have a war inside. And that was spot on, Avi. Okay. And so basically, you see that Franklin is thinking about it. And in the meantime, like I said, you have Jerome. He had pissed off. He's saying, I can't believe this. I really thought he was just a broken down vet. I put him on. I was by his side. I never would believe that he would do anything to us. How could he have fooled me? Louis is saying, well, Franklin brung him in too, so it would be just as much on him. And, he didn't see it coming either. I know she trying to make him feel better. And so you have these two guys pull up, and Jerome and Louis getting out the car, and they basically asking them like, oh, we heard what happened to y'all. We heard y'all got hit. We heard y'all had a bad day. And Jerome is like, yeah, what else you heard? You like, who did the shooting? And so they like, what we look like, Shaft and Company trying to be funny. And they was like, well, keep your ear to the streets. We want to know anybody's going to be involved. Somebody's going to talk eventually. And so they like, well, what about that drop though? And Jerome was like, did you hear what she said? And he was like, yeah, but Trey want to know about the drop. And he was like, how about I'll drop your ass, okay? And so the guy gonna tell Jerome, you may want to be a little bit more respectful. That's why people try to light your asses up. When I tell you Jerome beat this boy to a damn pulp, he was on some whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. He beat the mess out of him, okay? So his hands was hurting, okay? And meanwhile, Louis holding the gun on his little partner that was on the side. And so when they get up to leave, they like, pick your boy up. Go ahead. You can pick him up now. Pick him up and let him know. Okay. And the guys basically walking to go pick him up, and they get back in the car. And Jerome was like, and let him know, teach your man how to squabble, because the next time it might be the trigger on his ass. Okay. And I was like, ooh, y'all done messed around. Okay. With Mr. Jerome, and he is not in the mood. And so you have Parissa trying to clean up damn Teddy and take his shirt off and clean the wounds and all of this different type of mess. And he's saying that he needs to know what happened. He needs to know what's the fallout. And she was like, well, he was like, I need to use your phone. And she's basically like, well, and call his people. And she was like, well, I don't know what fallout you talking about, okay? I still don't know the story, because, of course, when she came to him, he was half on his damn deathbed. In my opinion, she should have let him damn die, but now she want the tea. So he's telling her, I was supposed to be meeting an asset. We basically, got attacked. We got separated. She's like, well, who attacked you? She's trying to get all this info out of Teddy. And I'm like, And then he gonna talk about, well, they weren't after me. And, she was like, I read this article in the Herald Examiner last year around the time that you disappeared, okay, which of course was that article about the CAR officer smuggling in cocaine into the country. And so she, of course, knows and puts two and two together that was Teddy. And he gonna talk about, well, pretty sure that story was retracted. And she's looking at him like, yeah, I bet. And so, of course she wants in. He's automatically said, what do you want? And she was like, oh, other than that 500,000, he was like, well, it was 250,000. She was like, oh, that was before I found the 300 kilos in your car. I counted that. Okay. And so he was like, well, other than money, what do you want? And so she over here talking about some damn, oh, 2 days ago, I would have thought that I would have just been happy to be able to quit the hospital and, go and relax and don't have nobody telling me no more about, can you help me to take a shit and this and that. But now I'm seeing a bigger picture for myself, okay, basically. Now she wants whatever the hell she could get is what I took from that. And so she climbs on top of him and he's talking about what are you doing, and she kisses him and she's telling him that she has been wanting to do that for the longest time, okay. She couldn't do it before because he was basically in love and he was married and all of that. And so I guess she sees that he ain't got none of that going on no more, and she trying to shoot her shot among other things. And so she tells him the last 2 days have been the most fun she had in years. We all know this damn lady crazy as hell. And so maybe that is what she want. All right. And I'm like, Teddy, okay. At the end of the day, Teddy deserves every damn thing he gets. So she tells him that she's going to bring the phone. All right. And then we have, Miss Veronique getting the sonogram, okay. I'm like, okay, so she is really at the damn doctor's office. She ain't just hightail it out of there, okay. And the doctor was a little weird to me, or nurse or whoever, because she came in and saying, I expect you to have a low expectations because there could be twins or there could be no heartbeat. That was weird to me. I never remember. Maybe that's how they said things in the 80s as soon as they came into the room. But that was weird. And she asked her, did she understand? And she said, yes, ma'am. And so Franklin, got in there, and you could tell that he was nervous, waiting to see if he was going to find her in there or not. And she tells him that they started a little early. He's right on time, and tells him to turn off the lights. When they do turn off the lights and they doing it, she says, of course, that liquid is a little cold. They do see the baby on the monitor. Of course, Franklin and her is looking all at seeing the baby. And then, she says, let's see if we got a heartbeat. There is a heartbeat there. I didn't hear her say whether it was a boy or girl, and I also didn't hear her say how many weeks or whatever, how far along she was. She only checked, for the heartbeat, and that was it. And you could see a feeling, like a look came over Franklin during that time, and Veronique asked, can she step out for a minute, because she had said congratulations to them. And when she steps out, Veronique essentially, bottom line, tells Franklin, she thought she could handle it. She thought, that this was going to be something that he would be able to get out of and move on, and they could have a normal life type of thing. But she came to the realization that that is not going to happen. She said that she wished, he says he wished she would have said something to him before she went ahead and left. And she says she knew that he wouldn't have let her go. He would have tried to fight her on it. She says, you told me you could keep me safe, but you can't. Okay. And so I guess this is all supposed to go back to the conversation that Sissy had with her. And now all of a sudden she's supposed to be scared when she already knew all of this before. But okay, girl, we gonna play the game. And so she tells him she doesn't blame him for what happened. She knew who he was. She didn't want to argue with him. And, he says that he saw Aubrey this morning and that he's going to start having security, and she was like, did you find out who came after you? He's like, no, we still working on it. And so he says they will find them, and he's going to take care of all of this. And she was like, maybe in time or maybe this time, but what about the next time? What about the CIA agents and all this? So he was like, CIA, where's this coming from? And she was like, it doesn't matter. But bottom line, she tells him that, like I said, you can't keep me safe. And she says, I think that we need to go ahead and have some distance. And, at least for now. And I need to keep some distance from you. So of course he's like, distance? And she was like, yeah. He says, what does that mean? She talking about, oh, well, that means, that I see you at work, okay, and that's it. That's all. And I'm like I said, I'm gonna be side-eyeing this girl for the rest of the season, more than likely, okay. She says, but nothing else. And then she says, please. And Franklin basically just shakes his head. She calls the nurse back in, and you could tell that this got him even more pissed off. In the meantime, Diamond and Dallas tell them, y'all actually got bigger problems than Peaches, okay? They done put their ear to the street, and they done found out that some OG named Kane is out of jail. So everybody that was saying Kevin, brother Kane, is out, and he was coming for revenge, y'all was 100% right, okay? And so they, Leon says, I hadn't heard he's been out, it's been long enough. And Dallas was like, somebody tell us who Kane is. But, I don't know whether they ever told him who they were or not, because the next scene we got was them coming to this little league game of football, walking up and talking to Kevin, okay, confronting him, not Kevin, but Kane, Kevin's brother, confronting him and saying, what the hell is going on? What is good? Okay, we need to talk to you. There's a lot of funny shit going on. All right. And so, you had two other guys walking up and looking at Leon and Franklin all funny or whatever the case may be. And then Kane chuckles and, Franklin come walking over. And he's like, oh, little Lee and Franklin, little Lee and Frankie. He was like, didn't think y'all would be this quick. Good for y'all. And so, Franklin is like, what's up, Kane? And he was like, when did you get out? And so he tells him it was a few months ago. He was like, oh, well, Franklin says you couldn't look us up. He was like, come on, you know how that goes. You see some people, you do some things and all of that kind of stuff. Broken family to look after. We done been through a whole bunch of stuff. And so Leon is like, old friends to shoot at. And, Kane is like, oh, niggas, I'm old friends. Nigga, y'all like my little brother. So they was like, okay, then that's even worse. You know what I mean? And he was like, telling a story about how his mother had dragged this little boy out, and he was saying it was Leon, and Franklin was like, that wasn't Leon, that was me. And so Kane is like, you know what, you right, yeah, now that I think about it, that was you right about that. And so he was like, yeah, more power to Miss Saint. And he says, well, you took a shot at her too, that, right? And he was like, technically I ain't shoot at nobody. And so, he's like, what I'm wondering, Leon, Franklin rather says to him, what I'm wondering is, did Peaches come to you or did you come to him? And so he gonna say to Franklin, start laughing or whatever and say, I taught you boys a lot of things, but one of the things I taught y'all was to how to behave like men. And he was like, I guess that shit didn't keep. And then, Franklin is like, yeah, it did, because that's why I'm here having this conversation. If it was anybody else, I would have been wiping them out, okay? I'm trying to come to you like a man. And then, he tells him, when I heard about my little cousin Delroy slinging for you, and him getting stabbed, I was in solitary. I wanted to come to the funeral. I couldn't. He was like, the next thing I know, I heard about Kev, and I ain't even want to come to that funeral. You know what I mean? He was like, I just sat there and I basically, took it because I would have been too crazy. And he was like, I would have done something crazy and they would have added more time. So I just sat there and I just waited patient, like, okay. So he was like, you really want to know what happened? And so he says to Franklin, you didn't kill and shoot my brother. You didn't shoot and kill my brother. Did I get that wrong, Franklin? But Franklin tells him, you don't know the whole story. And he was like, and then what did you do? Show me the proper respect. Say it to my face or whatever. And so Franklin tells him, I was in prison. He was like, yeah, I was wondering about that too, because who did you snitch on to get out? And then Franklin again is saying, you could have came and spoke to us if you had any issues, okay? You always could have came. And so, Kane, of course, is talking about, look at you thinking you all cute with your Louis shoes. He was like, man, don't tell me what I should have done. He was like saying to Leon, you going to tell me the same thing? And so Leon says, we trying to figure out what we could do to make this right. And Kane essentially says, some things you can't make right, okay? He was like, but I do sincerely apologize if shit got a hand, if Miss Saint or anybody else got caught up in it. But baby, this is just the beginning, okay? He says, it's all on me, but next time I'm gonna have better people, okay? So basically, he says next time he's gonna get it right. So what that means, y'all, is it's about to be on and popping. Franklin tells him anytime, any place. And he was like, this was your chance to do things a different way. And then, he tells Franklin, of course you could get at me. I'm not hiding. Okay, same way you found me here, you will be able to find me anywhere else. And he laughs and he walks off. So, you guys, this is war, right? This is part of the game. He basically tells him, you little boys run along, and that when he pours something out on Kev's grave, he will be thinking of Franklin. So, I could say I'm a little disappointed with this ending, all right? I like these last two episodes. I am a Snowfall fan, period, point blank. I think it's one of the best shows out there, but I was kind of like, like we thought it may be Kevin now. I mean, keep calling him Kevin. We thought it might have been Kevin's brother Kane. It is him. I'm disappointed in the direction that they took Peach's damn character. I'm just like, why was that needed? Okay, but I'm looking to see how Franklin and Oso are gonna handle Teddy from this point going forward. You know, what's daggone Sissy next move's gonna be. I'm still keeping my side eye on Miss Veronique, and I'm looking to see how they are going to handle this war with Kane. So y'all tell me about how y'all felt about it. Was y'all okay with this? Did y'all see this one coming? Did you not see it coming? Let's put it all in the comments and discuss. Okay, like, comment, share, subscribe. Till next time. Toodaloo.